So now we're going to talk about the last use of estar. See how I mentioned there's only 3 uses for estar? One is for location, right? The other one is for the conditions, and now we're going to talk about the third use of estar for something called the progressive. But before we can talk about the progressive, we need to talk about a form of the verb. We are familiar at this point with the infinitive form of the verb, right? The infinitive form of the verb is when the verb ends in ar, ir, right? There's something called the present participle form of the verb. There's 3 forms of verbs only. The infinitive, the present participle, and the past participle, right? And like in English, to speak, right? Let's see, the infinitive. The present participle in English is the ing ending form, right? And then the past participle form in English is the ed ending. To work, working, worked. See? Those are the 3. It's important that you recognize those. And we just have to call them what they are. They're present participles. There's no... Sounds complicated. Some people, when they hear that, they're like, yeah, I knew I shouldn't be doing this. But that's what it is. You know, you'll hear it enough times and you will be able to know what a present participle is. Present participle is the ing ending form of the verb. In Spanish, if the verb ends, and now we're on page 51. 51. And 51 in Espanol is 51. If the verb ends in ar, you replace the ar with ando. Right? And they give you an example there. Hablar becomes
hablando.
Hablando, right? Trabajar becomes
Trabajando.
Trabajando, right? Because the ar becomes ando. Comprar becomes
Comprando.
comprando. Viajar becomes
Viajando.
viajando, correcto, muy bien. Visitar becomes
Visitando.
visitando. Llegar becomes
Llegando.
llegando. Right? Llegar, to arrive or to get to a place, right? Llegando. Right? So if the verb ends in an AR ending form, you replace that with ando. If the verb ends in the ER or IR ending form, then you replace that with yendo. So comer becomes
Comiendo.
comiendo. Vender becomes
Vendiendo.
vendiendo. Aprender becomes
Aprendiendo.
aprendiendo. Right? Any verb that ends in ER or IR, we will replace with yendo. Right? Vivir becomes
Viviendo.
viviendo. Correcto. Subir becomes
Subiendo.
subiendo. Bajar becomes
Bajando.
bajando. Bajando. Right? To go out, ¿cómo se dice to go out?
Salir.
And salir becomes
Saliendo.
saliendo. Right? So those are going to be the ing ending form of the verb.